Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. In this video we are going to look at grade 7 mathematics, decimal fraction, the continuation of decimal fractions. We're going to look at how to convert common fractions to decimal fractions. This is actually the revision of grade 6 work. As we have already learned that a fraction is a number which is written in a form a over b, where the b stands for the number of parts it has been divided into, and the a stands for the number of parts which has been chosen. Okay, so if we are given a number, say 1 over 2, this fraction 1 over 2, to convert this to decimal fractions, we need to first of all think of a number multiplied by this denominator to get 10. If not possible, we think of a number multiplied by the denominator to get 100, or a number multiplied by the denominator to get 1000. And I hope everybody agree with me that when I multiply these two by 5, I'm going to get 10. So if so, then I have to multiply this by 5, multiply this by 5. And I have to multiply the top numbers to get 5, multiply the down numbers to get 10. So now to convert this to decimals, we just shift the comma from behind the number to the front, the number of the zeros. And if I have to shift it, because I have only one zero, I have to just round it 1. So I'm therefore going to have, I have shifted it 1, so my answer is 0,5. Second example, if I have, say, 4 over 100, this is a fraction. To change this fraction to decimal fractions, I have to, because the denominator is already powers of 10, I do not have to change it again. I just have to just round it. So I have my 4 and I have to round it 2 places. So if I round it 1, I have to round it again and bring my comma 0. And if you run it again, means you're adding 0. So this is my answer. My answer is going to be 0,04. Third example, I have 25 over 1000. It is already powers of 10, so I need not to change this. So I just have to round the zeros. I have 25. So to round the zeros, I have to round 1, 2. I don't have 2 zeros, I have 3 zeros. So I have to round it again, 3 before the comma 0. So I have to put 0 here and then write my answer at 0,025. Fourth example, I have 1 over 25. Now this 25 is not powers of 10, and there is nothing I can do this to make it 10. I cannot divide this by a number to make it 10, neither can I multiply this by a number to make it 10. But I can multiply a number by this, I can multiply a number by this to get 100. But I cannot divide it by a number to get 10 or multiply it by a number to get 10. But I can multiply it by a number to get 100. And what number is that? That is number 4. If it is number 4, then I have to multiply here by 4, here by 4. And then I multiply this, I'm going to get 4. And then multiply, I'm going to get 100. So my answer is, I have to round it 2 places, 1, 2 before the comma 0. So my answer is 0,04. 0,04. Okay, last example on this. Last example, which is example 5. I have 3/30. 3/30, I cannot multiply a number by this 30 to get 10, and I cannot multiply a number by this 30 to get what we call 100. But I can divide this number by 10 to get the 10 I want, and I can divide this number by the same 3. So this number here divided by 3, this divided by 3, I'm going to get 1/10. And 1/10, I can change it to decimal, which is going to be 0,1. Because we have to just take the comma one place to the front by the, because we have only 1 0. That is it. So we are done with the first part of it. Let's move to the second part, which is convert decimal fractions to percentage. To convert fractions, decimal fractions to percentages, all we have to do is to just multiply the percentage, multiply the decimal fractions by 100. Okay, so let's look at this. Example 1, I have 0,23. To convert this to percentage, I just have to multiply this by 100. And when we are multiplying, unlike dividing that we shift the comma to the left, when you are multiplying by the powers of 10, you shift the comma to the right by the number of the zeros. So I have equals to, I'm going to shift the comma from here, 1, 2. So the comma is going to be after the 3, which is comma 0. So if it is comma 0, it doesn't count. And then we have to bring our percentage. I have 0,07. I have to change this to percentage. What do? The same, multiply by 100. And I'm going to shift the comma to the right by the number of the zeros. So I have to shift it 1, 2. So the comma is now after the 7, which is 7. There is no number, so that is comma 0. And if it's comma 0, we don't count. It doesn't count. And 002 doesn't count. So my answer is 7%. This is how it was shifted. 0,07. I have shifted it 1, 2. So now the comma is here, which is comma 0. There is no number, so it is comma 0. And what is important here is the numbers that you have to take them. But 0, 0, it doesn't count, and comma 0 doesn't count. So your answer is 7%. Okay. 3. If I have, let's say, 2,34. To change 2,34 to percentage, I just have to multiply it by 100. And I'm going to take the comma 2 places to the right. So I'm going to take it 1 and 2. So it's going to be after the 4. So I'm going to have 2, 3, 4%. Last example. 1,342. We're going to change 1,342 to a percentage. So what do? We have to multiply it by 100. So what do we get? We have to shift it 1, 2. So it's going to be between the 4 and the 2. It is 134,2%. That is the second part of the lesson. So without wasting time, let's move to the last part of the lesson, which is how to convert decimals how to convert common fractions as percentage. We're going to look at how we're going to convert common fractions as percentage. Okay, we're going to look at how we convert common fractions as percentage. Our fraction. I have 1 over 2. What percent is this? The same way. Multiply by 100 because percentage count out of 100. Okay, so if I multiply this by 100, what do I get? Every number is 1, but that 1 is a hidden 1, but it doesn't change the value of the number if we write it. So we can equally write 100 over 1. And then what do? We multiply the top numbers, and what do we get? 100. We multiply the denominators, we get 2. So when we divide, we get 50. So the percentage is 50%. Or we can equally say that once percentage means out of 100, then 1 over 2 is a fraction. Percentage is also a special fraction which counts out of the total of 100. So if there is a way that we can find the equivalent form of half where the denominator is going to be 100, then we can also find our percentage. Okay, so here what we have to ask ourselves is that, is there any number multiplied by the 2 to get 100? Yes, that number is 50. So what we do to the bottom, we do to the top. So we multiply this, we get 50. We multiply this, we get 100. So now 50 over 100, we have the denominator to be 100, so the 50 is our percentage. Let's look at a second example. I have 2 over 5. And I want to know what percentage is this. First of all, I can multiply it. Percentage, you multiply it by 100 over 1. And you multiply the top numbers, you get 200. You multiply the bottom numbers, you get 5. Therefore, 5 goes into itself 1, it goes into 24. So what number do we have left? We have 40 and then over 1, which is equal to 40 and then percent. Or if we have to go by the second method, then we have to say what number, is there any number multiplied by the 5 to get 100? Yes, what number is that? That is 20. So we multiply here by 20, here by 20. So this multiply, we get 40 over 100. And that is our percentage, 40%. Okay. Third example. What percentage is for, let me say 5 out of 100? It is already 5. The fraction is already out of 100. So the percentage is therefore 5%. So last example. 7 over 10. What percentage is 7 over 10? First of all, we multiply it by 100 over 1. We times the top numbers, we get 700 over 10. So 0 cancels 0, we have 70 divided by 1, which is 70%. And if we have to go by the other way, we have 7 over 10. So we have to multiply here by 10 to get 100, multiply here by the same 10. So you get your 70 over 100, which is 70%. This is the end of the lesson. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.